So hello students, the next topic is the database recovery. Database recovery, what do you mean? This is basically recovering the database if the system fails. So database recovery is basically restoring the database to a correct consistent state even if the system fails, right? Even if the database fails, the system fails, even due to any system failure, recovering the database from the failure and restoring it into a consistent state, a correct state, is known as database recovery, right? So we have to restore it to that particular point, that particular consistent state that existed before the time the system fails, right? The system failure, there can be many reasons, although we have studied this earlier also, that what can be the reasons for system crash. So the different failure reasons or the type of different database failures are the hardware failure, that your disk crashes, or the sometimes it shows the disk full error. There can be software failure, that your Windows crashes, your DBMS software that you are working on, suppose Oracle or MySQL, that software fails, or there is any error with the application program. Then there can be system crash. System crash can be due to any hardware or software error, right? Then we can have the network failure. Network failure can be due to some error in the client server configuration, or it mainly happens where there are distributed databases, as in case of banking, or as in case of your reservation systems, right? So apart from this, we can have the natural physical disasters. The failure can be due to fire, floods, earthquake, or one of the reason can be carelessness of the operators, those who are accessing the database or those who are working on the database, right? So this is what basically means how we can have a recovered database is that you maintain a backup for all the transactions, and if you are maintaining the backup, then it can help us to recover the database. So recovery from transaction failure means that we have to store the database into the most consistent state. To do this, we have three different techniques. The deferred update, that is known as the no undo but a redo algorithm. We have immediate update, that is a undo algorithm, and shadow paging. In the first two types of techniques, that is deferred update and immediate update, we will be following the log based recovery methods. They are the log based recovery methods in which we maintain system log. We have studied earlier that what is a system log is. So in the first two techniques we maintain a log, but in the third technique we do not maintain a log. So the first two techniques are log based recovery. So what type of transactions or what type of operations is the right word, what type of operations we actually maintain on a log is, see this example. Suppose we are starting the transaction Ti, so we will record Ti start, then Ti xj v1 v2, it means transaction Ti is updating the value of data item x from v1 to v2. v1 is the old value, v2 is the new value. Then if the transaction commits, then we store this operation, we record this on the log, that is Ti commit. If the transaction fails and we need to abort it, we need to roll back it, so we write down Ti abort on the log, right? So let's start with the first technique. First technique is the deferred update technique. In the first technique, what we do is defer means to delay, right? So suppose I want to make some changes on the database, we do not make the changes directly to the database while the transaction is in execution. What we do is, while the transaction is in execution, we keep on recording every update on a log, and when the transaction successfully commits, only after it we record the complete log, we write the complete log on the database. So actual changes, actual updates on the actual database that is stored on the disk is maintained only after the transaction commits, right? So here we use a log and we delay the actual updates, the writing of actual updates to the database until the transaction commits. So this is what is written there, that these techniques defer or postpone any actual updates to the database until the transaction reaches its commit point. During transaction execution, the updates we write on the log file. After the transaction reaches its commit point, the log file is force written to the disk. Then the updates are recorded in the database. Obviously, the log file, the system log that we are using to record the transaction updates, the log is also maintained on the disk, and disk is the non-volatile memory, right? So if the transaction fails, then your log is stored. We use the log to perform the changes on the database. So this is how the process goes on. Suppose this is a transaction, it is performing some updates. All the updates are written on the log file, and once the transaction reaches its commit point, then after the commit point, the updates are written from the log file to the database. The transaction could be like this, that we have performed some read operation on A, then we have subtracted or debited rupees 50, then we have written A, like this. The transaction can look like this, that we have started earlier, right? Now why it is known as the redo technique or redo algorithm is, suppose the scenario there is no need to undo. Why it is known as redo is that a transaction cannot change the database on disk until it reaches its commit point. Suppose this is the scenario. See this, if the transaction, it is performing updates on the log, and after the transaction reaches its commit point, the updates are written back to the disk. While we are in the process of writing the updates from the log to the database and the system fails, suppose the system fails at this point, then what we can do is we are having the log in the disk, right? And disk is the non-volatile memory. So using that disk, we can redo all the updates from the log to the database. That is why redo means that if some failure has happened, then we have a backup. Log is that backup. We can use that backup to write down all the updates from the log to the database, right? So that is why it is known as a redo algorithm, right? Now I'll tell you that in which cases the redo will happen. See this, suppose we are having 3 different cases here. In the first case, you can see this, we have a transaction T0. This is basically the snapshot of our log. T0 start means that we have started the transaction T0. T0 A950 means that transaction T0 has updated the value of A to 950, and transaction B, the value transaction T0 has updated the value of data item B to 2050. Here we need not to perform any redo operation because there is no commit record on the log. Until the transaction is committed, we don't perform any redo operation, right? Redo is performed only after the transaction commits, but no transaction T0 has yet not committed, so we will not perform any updates from the log to the database in the first case. In the second case, you can see we have started the transaction 0. Transaction T0 has updated the value of A to 950. Transaction T0 has updated the value of B to 2050. Then transaction T0 commit, right? Now transaction T1 start, and transaction T1 has updated the value of C to 600. Now you can see this is the snapshot of my log at any particular time, at any instant of time. And suppose after this particular point, here my transaction fails, right? So only we need to perform the updates, only we need to write down those updates to the database that are done by transaction T0, because only transaction T0 has committed successfully. Then we will only update the values of A and B to my actual database. I am not going to change the value of my database C to 600 in my actual database, because transaction T1 has failed, it has not committed. So then C will be restored to its original value only. We are not going to update the value of C. Now let's take a third scenario. In the third scenario, T0 has started here. T0 has updated the value of A to 950. This is on the log. We haven't moved to database right now. Transaction T0 has updated the value of B to this. Now transaction T0 committed successfully. T1 is started. T1 has updated the value of C to 600. T1 has committed. Now you can see this. In this case, we will perform the changes. We will write down the updates to all the data items A, B and C, because A, B and C that were accessed by transaction T0 and T1 respectively both has committed successfully. So in this case you will see that changes performed by both T0 and T1 will be written down on the database. I hope you have understood this, that what redo means. Redo means we are just using the log to perform the changes on the database. We are not writing down the updates directly to the database that is stored in a disk. We are storing all the updates performed by any transaction on a log, and then we are using log to perform the updates on the database. So this is what my first technique, deferred update, is. Second is my immediate update. What immediate update means, that it's first of all is an undo algorithm. It's not a redo algorithm. What this means is immediate update or undo algorithm. In this technique, we are now when a transaction issues an update command, the database can be updated immediately without any need to wait for the transaction to reach its commit point. So if the recovery technique ensures that all updates of a transaction are recorded in the database on disk before the transaction commits, there is no need to redo any operation of committed transaction. So what it follows is, first of all, it is immediate update. Immediate update means as soon as the transaction is updating any data item, the value of any data item, I am updating its value on the log, and the log is simultaneously updating my database, the value of my database stored in the disk simultaneously. We are not waiting here for the transaction to commit. While the transaction is in the process of execution, I am simultaneously performing the updates on my log, and log is used to perform the updates on the database, right? So this is what the immediate update means. We are not delaying any type of update, any type of write operation here. So here the process is, this is the transaction. The transaction has yet not committed. We are not waiting for the commit point. Transaction has updated some data items. Those updates are performed on the log, and the log is simultaneously updating my database. We are not waiting for the transaction to commit, right? So why it is known as an undo operation is, now suppose while I am the transaction is updating the log here, I am performing the updates on the database. Suppose at this particular point, suppose the transaction fails. Now if the transaction fails, then I have to restore the values of all the database items that this transaction who has failed has updated to its original value. Suppose transaction T1 performs update on A, B and C, right? A, B and C, transaction T1 has updated their value. Now after the changes are made on the log, and the log is simultaneously changing my database. Suppose transaction T1 fails before its commit point, but after updating the value of A, B and C. So if the transaction has failed, I need to restore the value of all my database items to its original value, right? So this is what undo is. Undo means restoring those changes, restoring the database state to its earlier state. I will undo all the operations, right? So this is what the immediate update technique works like. Next is the shadow paging. Shadow paging is basically a technique where we are not using any type of log. We are not maintaining any type of log here, especially in case of the single user environment. But if it is a case of multi-user environment, sometimes the log is maintained. How the shadow paging work and why it is named so is, here what we are assuming is that our database is partitioned into pages, and the size of, or the length, you can say the length of each page is same. Suppose my database is of 10 MB and I have divided my database in 10 pages, each of size 1 MB. one page of size 1 MB, 10 pages means 10 MB. So database is divided into fixed size partitions known as the pages, right? And we are maintaining a page table. Just like we have an index in the book, we are maintaining a page table. In the page table, because all the pages, they are not in the sequence, they might not be in the sequence. Suppose I am storing a book of 5 MB in this database of 10 MB. So it might happen that the book is spread, it is not stored in a contiguous manner. So I am maintaining a page table here. Page table will tell me that which particular page is stored at which location of my database in the disk, right? So we'll show you the diagram of this. So we are maintaining the two page tables here. A current page table that is stored in the main memory. You know main memory is volatile. So if the light switch is off or power is off, current page table will not be there in the memory anymore. It will get erased off. And we are having the shadow page table. We are maintaining two page tables. Current page table in the main memory, that is a volatile storage, and shadow page table in the non-volatile storage medium, right? So how it happens is, when the transaction starts, my shadow page table and my current page table, they look exactly same, right? Shadow page table we never change. Whatever changes we make, they are made in my current page table, right? When a transaction is performing a write operation. So we use the current page table to locate the database pages on the disk. During transaction execution, all updates are performed using the current directory, and shadow directory is never modified. So when a write operation is performed, what we do is, suppose I am performing some update on my page 2 of database, right? So what we do is, we will store the older version of the page. When we will modify the page, we perform the write operation on the page, we create a new page for page 2. We will not perform any changes, or we will not overwrite the current page 2, right? So in short, I am storing the two copies of my page 2, the old page and the new page, and the entry of my old page 2 is in the shadow page table. The entry of my new page 2 is in the current page table, right? Two versions of my page is stored. Those pages, those were updated by the transaction. So you can see this is the diagram of shadow paging. Suppose this is my database. This is how my database looks like, and that is stored on a disk. This is my shadow page table. This is my current page table. Now you can see this database is divided into, suppose 6. I am storing 6 pages in my database, right now 6 pages in my database. You can see this. Let's start with the shadow directory first. This is my, and one more thing, page table, number of entries in the page table will be equal to the number of pages in which my database is divided. Obviously, if I am having 10 pages in my database, then for each page there will be one entry in the page table, right? So this is the entry for page 1. Where is page 1? Page 1 is here, right? So it is storing a pointer to that particular page in the disk. So this page 2 old version is stored here, page 3 old version is stored here. Then we are having page 4 stored there, page 5 is stored there, page 6 is stored there. Now suppose I update the transaction, updates page 2 and page 5. Now this current directory or current page table will point to the new locations of my page 2 and page 5, and rest of the pointers will point to the old page locations only of those pages which are not updated yet. So you can see this is the page 1, both the shadow table and the current table, they are pointing the same location. Page 2, this time because it has been modified, it is pointing to the new location of my page 2. And the shadow page table is storing a pointer to the old location of my page 2. Similarly for page 5, this is storing a pointer to the new location of page 5, and this is storing a pointer to a new old location of page 5. In short, whenever the transaction is modifying any page, it is storing both two versions of each page, right? Two versions of each page, the old page and the new page. So these are the three techniques. So what are the advantages? Advantages is that yes, there is no we are not maintaining any type of log records here, so no overhead is maintained in writing the log records. Then no undo, no redo, recovery is faster. But the problem is, yes, it will occupy more memory, because if I am updating, the transaction is updating a lot of pages, then I need to store two versions of each page. So the memory occupied, the use of the utilization of memory, the use of memory, the storage amount increases, right? And data gets fragmented or scattered. So these are the basically three different techniques of my database recovery: the deferred update, the immediate update, and the shadow paging. This is a very important topic from exam point of view. So that's it for this particular video lecture. We will be starting with the next topic, that is authentication and authorization in case of DBMS, in the next video class, the next video lecture. Thank you.